A study conducted by Northeastern University and the University of Massachusetts Amherst just confirmed our worst fears about net neutrality. That internet service providers like Verizon and AT&T, they're already throttling their competitors a mere, 5 months after the death of net neutrality? Unbelievable. So as Bloomberg's Olga Karif reports, the researchers used a smartphone app called Weehee, downloaded by about 100,000 consumers, to monitor which mobile services are being throttled when and by whom in what likely is the single largest running study of its kind. Among U.S. wireless carriers, YouTube is the number one target of throttling, where data speeds are slowed according to the data. Netflix Inc.'s video streaming service, Amazon.com Inc.'s Prime Video, and NBC Sports app have been degraded in similar ways, according to David Chafness, one of the study's authors who developed the Weehee app. From January through early May, the app detected differentiation by Verizon Communications more than 11,100 times, according to the study. This is when a type of traffic on a network is treated differently than other types of traffic. Most of this activity is throttling. AT&T did this 8,398 times, and it was spotted almost 3,900 times on the network of T-Mobile and 339 times on Sprint Corporation's network, the study found. The numbers are partly influenced by the size of the networks and user bases. C-Spire, a smaller privately held wireless operator, had the fewest instances of differentiation among U.S. providers, while Verizon had the most. Carriers say they're throttling to manage internet traffic to deliver the videos people want to watch on their phones. Sacrifices in speed are required, according to the three largest U.S. wireless companies, Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile. Terms of service agreements tell customers when speeds will be slowed, like when they exceed data allotments, and people probably don't notice because the video still streams at DVD quality levels. If you want high-definition video, you can pay more, the carriers say. Now, an important thing to note about this is that throttling, it didn't just start happening after the repeal of net neutrality went into effect. Throttling has been happening for years now. It's just the difference is that internet service providers, they're not just throttling the totality of your internet service. They're picking and choosing which websites like YouTube and Amazon Prime Video that they want to throttle. So that's the key difference here. Now they're able to discriminate against certain websites that they don't like, specifically websites that are their competitors. And certainly all of these companies like Verizon, AT&T, they all have their own video streaming services. So by targeting Netflix and Amazon and even YouTube, they are targeting their competitors. This is anti-consumer, anti-competitive conduct that Ajit Pai assured us would not happen after he repealed net neutrality. And lo and behold, would you look at that, not even 6 months after the repeal, it's already happening. So they're doing exactly what we expected them to do and what we said that they'd do. And since the FCC was defanged and they can no longer do anything about this, since they don't have the administrative authority to punish these companies that do this, since Ajit Pai and his cronies repealed net neutrality, obviously, there's literally nothing that we can be doing about this currently. They can throttle YouTube out in the open now, brazenly so, and we can't do a goddamn thing about it. Now, theoretically speaking, this shouldn't be surprising. Like, we shouldn't be surprised at the fact that Verizon and AT&T are throttling companies that pose a competitive threat to them, like YouTube and Netflix. But I am admittedly surprised that it's happening this quickly, because I thought that they'd be a lot more subtle about it and do it slower, seeing that a lot of people are still engaged when it comes to this issue of net neutrality. But they've proven me wrong. They're that shameless that they are willing to already throttle their competitors. And of course, they're going to come up with this bullshit excuse because they're not even going to deny it anymore. Before, they just deny it outright. Now they're just saying, oh yeah, we're throttling, but people know about that. It's so that way we can deliver them, better internet and better quality content. I mean, it's bullshit. It's all bullshit. And I'm wondering if the individuals like Ajit Pai and even political commentators who spoke about this, like Ben Shapiro, are going to come out and apologize for calling those of us concerned about net neutrality alarmists now that we're seeing the consequences of it. And again, I have to remind you that this is only the beginning. These efforts to throttle YouTube and Netflix, this is just the beginning. It's a slow rollout. It's still sooner than I expected, right? And more subtle than I expected at this point. But it's still, this is the beginning. So imagine 5-10 years down the line, when we've all stopped talking about net neutrality, what it's going to look like, what the internet will look like. If we're already seeing changes now and throttling now. I mean, the worst case scenario is slowly but surely encroaching, where they section off portions of the internet and sell us internet packages. Because they're going to say this is better for consumers. It's great that Comcast disaggregates the internet and sells us a social media package for $5, because then your grandma, she's not going to use the rest of the internet, so why can't she just pay $24.99 a month for a social media package, so that way, she can communicate with you? That's going to be the argument, and it's going to be basically the status quo, to where if you question that, you're the one who looks insane. So I don't even know. I mean, I usually end these videos with some type of action initiative and tell you, call your legislator, petition for local municipal broadband, which is certainly important, but there's just so much money on the other side that I don't know if we can win this battle, feasibly speaking. But certainly, municipal broadband, I think, is the future if we are going to save the internet and have net neutrality established. So, it's just very depressing news, but this is what was intended to happen. These companies didn't spend millions of dollars lobbying Congress and politicians to repeal net neutrality to just do nothing after it was repealed. They got the policy that they wanted, and now they're going to capitalize on it.
Support this podcast by becoming a patron at patreon.com/Humanist Report.